Make it on the ground, you can make it on the ground, you should make it on the ground, you should make it on the ground, you should make. Hi guys, this is Coach Kevin. I'm here with Deep, who is a member for how long, Deep?
4 years.
4 years. 4 years, he has had one of the biggest transformation that I've seen here at the gym, not just physically, but also mentally and overall well-being. So Deep, we just want to share your story just to help motivate and help inspire people, help people connect and see that what's possible, okay? And Deep, can you share us how you were before all this?
Yeah, physically, probably about 2 years ago, I wouldn't necessarily say I was in the worst shape of my life, but, I was kind of approaching that midlife, about 40 years old kind of, stage. And I was very overweight. I was obese, to be honest. 235 pounds at my height was definitely obese. And I wasn't feeling that great physically. I think mentally, I was okay. I'm not saying I was in a perfect mental state either, but physically, definitely not. And to be very honest, it's not something. It's not one trigger that happened that made me realize that I need to change my life or change something. It's something that I've been trying to do over time, but you have to find the right thing. So found the right thing at that point. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
So 235 pounds overweight, and what are you now? What has been the transition?
Sure. I went down to 145 pounds, and since then I've put on a little bit back on, but I'm hoping that's more muscle weight as opposed to
That's definitely
fat.
muscle, yes.
So I'm probably at about 151, 152 now.
So 235 minus 150, so about 85 pounds.
Yep.
So Deep lost about 85 pounds or so, and he came to me and said, I'm good. I don't want to lose any more weight. Now I want to get stronger. I want to build back some muscle and put me on a strength cycle. That's my goal now, no longer to lose weight, which is great because now it's fun. It's no stress of trying to get down to a healthy weight. Now it's just, I'm just going to get stronger, get fitter, and live better. So that's physically. How about mentally and just your life overall since all this change?
So I think for me personally, reflecting on my own journey, I think 2023 was a very significant year for me. For whatever reason, that's the year when a lot of things started clicking for me. I think spiritually as well, lots kind of happened in my personal life that made me just a little bit more open. And I started to read up more around things like spirituality. Obviously, being Indian, there's a lot ingrained in your culture around spirituality. It was just a point in my life where I started to understand what it's kind of about. And it led me down what I think is a very positive thing for me. I did start to take up things like meditation and just get in a much better mental spot that gave me that clarity that I think personally helped me do what I wanted to do later on. And then my physical transformation probably happened more towards the end of 2023, actually to the start of 2024. Yeah.
Yeah. So spirituality kind of kickstarted that, or at least spirituality, and then it flipped something within you, your perception change, mindset change, and then everything else kind of follows.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
I think so. I think spirituality made me realize that there's something bigger. And to be very honest with you, I stopped chasing perfection. And I think the moment I stopped chasing perfection and just started to chase progress, I started to achieve a lot more. I don't have an end goal in mind. It's just about progress. Today, I can be better than yesterday. This week, I can be better than last week. This year, I can be better than last year. And that's all you can do.
One thing I really admire about you is you never compared yourself with others. In here, since we're in a group setting, we have a push press where we're logging in our scores. We get to see what everyone else is doing. And then now you are at a point where you're even surpassing some of the stronger guys at the gym, doing like handstand push-ups, which is something that old you never thought of doing. Rope climbs, toes to bar, like all these body weight calisthenics movements that seem so far 2-3 years ago. And so tell me about that. Like, what is your mindset regarding, just because you're saying it's all about progress. Yeah. Don't care about anyone else. It's just...
Comparison is not always a bad thing if you use it in the right way. If you use it as a way to inspire yourself. When you see someone doing something whatever it might be, from a career perspective, from a physical perspective. If you use that as inspiration, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But unfortunately, I think a lot of people, sure. Comparison is a thief of joy. And I think that's true a lot of people. I don't think I've ever tried to compare myself to anyone. Like I said, I just look at people as inspiration, but I certainly don't look at them to make myself feel any worse, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, with no comparison, that means you don't really have an ego, right? Was that from the spiritual change, or were you always like that before?
I think I was always like that, to be entirely honest with you. Maybe more so now that I completely just don't have an ego and I don't really care or compare myself in any way to anyone else. Obviously, when you're younger, that part of your strength is a bit weaker, so you do have a bit of an ego. But over time, I feel like I don't want to say completely lost it, but near enough that I don't have an ego.
That's awesome. So for the most people who are listening, dropping 85 pounds, that's a big deal. Can you talk about how you did that, or what was the kicker and what you had to do every day? And
So, like I said to you, I started this journey, in my view, way earlier than 2023 or 2024 around that time. This journey for me started back in 2017, 2018, when I knew that I was not feeling great. I was getting down. I was kind of getting overweight. My family has a history of diabetes and high blood pressure and all this sort of stuff, and I definitely didn't want to follow down that kind of path. So there were things that I was trying back in sort of 2017 and 2018, other diets like keto, and I could do that for short spans of time. And I even lost a bit of weight, lost 10 pounds here and 15 pounds here, but I could never sustain it. I would always kind of put it back on. In around 2018, 2019, I started getting a little bit more physical as well. I joined a CrossFit gym when I was living back in Seattle, but I wasn't still feeling great. So I tried other stuff like intermittent fasting and all that kind of stuff. But I always saw these as a means to an end, meaning that I had this goal of what I needed to look like. But I think, like I said, the change for me was when I stopped chasing a particular dream or a perfect image, just more around progress. And that kind of happened in 2023 when I just found, or towards the end of 2023, when I just found something that's sustainable for me. And that for me was intermittent fasting, not as intense as I used to before, and a focus on whole foods and on quality protein. And, honestly, for me, just cutting out things that I didn't really need and that weren't nutritious for you, like sugar, like alcohol and stuff like that. But I want to be clear, it's not that I completely avoid those things. In moderation, I still have a drink once in a while and I still enjoy dessert once in a while. It's not that I won't, but I try to cut out those unessential things and just focus on quality nutrition, just whole foods. I stopped being scared of things like carbs or anything like that. Just in moderation, balanced meals. At the start, it was a bit more extreme from a calorie deficit perspective. But now, honestly, I don't even worry about calories. I just worry about getting in the right nutrition with the aim of just fueling yourself and feeding right.
so back then, intermittent fasting, whole food. So intermittent fasting, what was the fast hours? And
Yeah. Initially, when I started, I felt like I needed to be quite extreme. So my goal was 18-hour fasts every day and a 6-hour eating window. Sometimes it would go all the way up to 20 hours and sometimes as little as 16 hours. I was never super strict about it. So I did that. That kind of worked for me at the start. But now I'm more on a 16-8 schedule. So 16-hour fasting, 8 hours of eating window.
And during that 8-hour window, it is crucial that is sticking with whole foods and moderation.
Whole foods, moderation, and one of the things that I've done is the first meal of the day, which for me tends to be around noonish. I will eat the same thing every day because it eliminates choice, and that's a good thing. And I'm more than happy to share as well what I eat for that first meal.
Yes, please.
It's non-fat Greek yogurt with chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, some nuts, choice of nuts, whatever you want, fruit, any fruit. I'm not that particular about which one I eat. I like all fruit, dates, and 3 Wishes cereal. Every single day, that is what I break my fast with.
Awesome. So that is lunch every day. And then you have your dinner, which is?
Dinner, I just try to eat a variety of different foods. I'm not very I don't try to restrict myself at dinner in terms of kind of what I eat. I do still enjoy eating out. So again, I don't restrict myself in what I eat, but more just try to control at least portion sizes. I just make sure that I'm getting in a decent amount of protein. And I also supplement with protein shakes or protein powder as well. Typically after a workout, a couple of hours after a workout, I will have a protein shake. I tend to have between 2 to 3 meals a day. One of them is a protein shake.
That's great. And to lose how much weight that you've lost, like you were saying, most people do it for whatever, 1 month or 2 months, and they're like, okay, I'm good. And then they kind of fall back. What kept you going and made it a lifestyle?
I think once you eliminate the need for perfection, you don't have an end goal in mind. And when you don't have an end goal in mind, you're not bound to stop at something. You just need to understand that whatever journey you're on, you just need to start it. There is no end point. There's no end goal. It's a lifestyle change. You start that, and that's what you're going to carry on for the rest of your life, or at least as long as you can, knowing that in my mind, there is no end goal. It's just, the goal is just to get better. There is no end goal, if that makes sense.
Right. Love it. A common thing that most people say is the cravings. I have the cravings of, I want that pizza, I want that burger, do you still have these cravings? And if so, what do you do about them?
I have the cravings, absolutely. And like I said, I don't restrict myself from any particular food. So when I do have those cravings, I will eat those foods. But again, it's moderation. I love burgers, I love pizza as well, like most people do. It's fine. But rather than eating a whole pizza, you can have a slice and it will satisfy your cravings, or a burger as well. But you just try to do it not as often as you used to before. Again, like I said, the goal is not perfection, it's just progress. If you are better today than you were yesterday, it's a win. So, before, what my diet was very, very bad. I would eat a lot of things like pizzas and burgers. And again, I still have those cravings, but I'll probably just do it once a week or twice a week.
Great. Yeah, so huge transformation, 85 pounds, mental, physically, big change. Maybe I'll throw on a before and after picture just so everyone can see. Because most people who joined recently don't know you before. And I remember a lot of people who came back, they're like, oh my gosh, that's deep. I'm sure you see that all the time from people you haven't seen for a while.
I do. I've seen it here. I've, even in my personal life, met people after a while and they can't recognize me. I have to reintroduce myself, which is a great feeling, to be entirely honest with you. But yeah.
Love it. So in here, in our community, there are a lot of Indian people. A lot of them come up to me and they say the biggest thing they want is they want to lose their belly. The other is they want to get off medication, diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure. And in their mind, which I come to learn, is they think that this is just, it's just part of life. My grandparents have it, my parents have it, and this is just my faith. But you don't have any of that.
No. My grandfather on my father's side and my father both had those kind of health problems, cholesterol, high blood pressure, everything linked to a bad diet, if I'm entirely honest with you. And it's something that I've also heard, and not just in this stage of my life, but even growing up, that it's just something that is part of the, Southeast culture. That's just kind of how it is, and you have to accept that. But I think part of it is also when I started to open up myself spiritually, that you kind of realize that a lot of it is in your control. And I read up a lot around things like this as well. It's a misconception that just because your parents had it, you're going to have it, especially in these sort of factors that we're talking about, like cholesterol and high blood pressure. That is certainly true, that there are certain illnesses and all that can be passed down. But this is not one of them. Science has kind of proved that. And I think once you get that out of your mind, there's nothing you can do about it. Once you get that out of your mind, it does change your mindset. I don't think that the Indian diet is specifically great, if I'm entirely honest with you. And the diet is the reason why we're seeing some health problems that we are. And I think once I realized that, I changed my diet. That's not to say that I stopped eating Indian food. I love Indian food. I still eat Indian food. I just changed it to make sure that it's more centered around whole foods and proteins as opposed to carbs. But the point I'm making here is it is in your power to change it. It is not based on your family.
Yes. Love that. Cool. So just a little finisher. We want to try to keep this short, maybe just a quick lightning round of just fun things. Ready? So it's just like a 1-2 word answer. Strongest movement?
Cleans.
Cleans. Weakness?
Running.
Running. What kind of workouts do you love the most?
I love the ones where there's a bit of mix of heavy lifting and some cardio. So I love those sort of metcon type workouts.
Me
I do.
too.
Yeah.
Cool. And regarding metcons, what are your favorite? 4 times, AMRAPs, EMOMs, chippers?
4 time.
4
I think
time.
So. Yeah.
Cool. Favorite food?
I'm going to go with burgers.
Burgers. Oh, all right. Cool. Anything else you want to share to the community or to people who's thinking about joining, or even those who are struggling to lose weight? Just one thing that comes to mind that you would like to share.
I've talked about this in this setting as well. Just don't chase perfection. Just start. Just chase progress. Consistency and progress over perfection will win any day, hands down.
I agree. Cool. Thank you so much, Deep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're an inspiration, and I'm glad that we are sharing this to everyone else.
Not a problem. Anything I can do to help the community, and if I can be an inspiration, so be it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Love it. Thank you, Deep.